Hi guys, and welcome back to the series Pool Table Reviews. Today we're at the Bittern in Southampton. Let's go check it out. Okay, so here at the Bittern, £1 for a game. Again, you can use your card, which is quite rare. As I mentioned on the previous episode, it's normally about £1.20 to £1.50 when you generally pay by card. So £1 a game, 7 out of 10. Alright, so as for the balls, basic Aramiths, they're in okay condition. Again, they could use a ball cleaner in this venue. But overall, not bad. I'll score them a 6 out of 10. So as you can see there, we're back to these tight plastic triangles. This for me is one of the worst bits of equipment you can have in a pub. And it's one of the most inexpensive things that you can replace. So again, I'm going to say an early recommendation, get this changed. As you can see by the rack, all of the balls are loose and it's just not ideal. So for that reason, I'm going to score this 4 out of 10. Okay, so as for the cues, basic pub cues again. These ones are actually in all right condition for a pub cue. They have 2 options for the adults. Both have tips, which is good. They have 2 options for kids. Both have tips, again, really good. And this is not something you see normally in pubs, but they've actually got a short rest, which again, useful for kids and adults to an extent. And they've got a full-size spider rest, which again, sometimes you'll need this on a pool table when it's very rare to have these. So overall, I'm pretty impressed with this, considering that they are basic pub cues. For that reason, I'm going to give these a 7 out of 10. Interesting piece of chalk with a hole in it, but it's master chalk. You can see my hands, how it gets everywhere. That's the biggest issue with this chalk. It's not terrible. There is a second piece of chalk, which is the Billiard Pro, which is not as good. Again, very basic pub chalk. This is similar to Triangle. It's not as good because, again, it does get everywhere. The thing I'd just recommend with this piece is just to replace it. But for now, for the chalk, I mean, let's just give it a 5 out of 10. Okay, so looking at the cloth, this is in very, very good condition. There are a couple of burn marks, which again, you can't really see because the lighting is not great. But overall, chalk marks, minimal, burn marks, there's a few. There's no rips, there's no pint stains. My feeling is that not many people use this, and actually it's in okay condition, so I'm looking forward to playing on it. But overall, just the way it feels and the way it looks, I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. So I've just noticed there aren't any pint stains. There seems to be what can only be described as a fruit shoot mark. So I'd definitely say let's get the kids off of this table. All right, so time to see the space around the table. Joe, cue the music. Perfect, so that is a 10 out of 10. Didn't touch anything around the side with a full-size cue. That's a really, really good amount of space around this table. Anyone for a game of bowls? All right, so as for the roll on the table, as you've seen, it's not great. It's something that's free, right? Anyone can level a table, you just have to know how to do it. The match table might be different, and again, I'm not going to hold it against them because this is their backup table. It's meant for fun, it's meant for kids, so it's not really an issue. But if there are people who do enjoy playing pool who want to come in here and play a game, maybe the match table is being used and they want a decent table to play on, they're going to pay £1 to play on this table. So having it level is, you know, the least you can do for someone. For that reason, the state it's in right now, I'm going to give it a 2 out of 10. Right, well, I'm still yet to get a break and clearance on any table in the pub using the pub's cues. So I'm not too confident on this one because I'm not used to the way this table is rolling, but let's see how it goes. It would be great if I could just get a ball. Like, I might just be the new name for this is, can I pot a ball on the break instead of can I clear up? All right, so obviously wasn't successful there with a break and clearance using the pub's cue, which again, in my opinion, is the most important piece of kit in terms of improving your game. So I'm gonna use my Q-Tech SV1 Ghost Edition cue to break, and I'm gonna use my Ultimate Pool Master cue to try and clear the table. Let's see how it goes. One thing I am gonna be doing for the rest of this series though, is if I get encountered with one of those tight plastic triangles, I'm gonna be using the Smart Rack. Gives me a little bit of a chance, especially when the table is rolling like this. What? How though? Not happy with that. That would have gone in on my table. All right, so not exactly a dish, but that ball should have dropped. But yeah, really nice stuff from the Master Cue, and you saw the break there, really, really good. Didn't really notice the roll too much on the table, but yeah, well, obviously it did because it didn't go in that corner pocket. But yeah, let's start to talk about just the kind of positives and negatives of this table in the Bitten. All right, so let's talk about the positives of this table. So the first thing I'm going to say is the cloth is pretty much immaculate, really, really nice condition, which is great to see. Again, doesn't get much use as it's meant for people who probably don't really play on it much, which are kids. But yeah, it seems well looked after, and I would definitely say it's the highlight of this table for sure. So another positive of this table is the space around the side. There's plenty of space. You're not going to be hitting any walls. You can have a full-size cue, and there's no issues with that. So lastly, when it comes to positives of the table, the cues that they supply, although they're basic pub cues and the tips are pretty bad, they play pretty straight. Every single one of them's got a tip, and they supply rests, which is something you don't really see in pubs. So for that reason, I'm going to give that a positive for this venue. So as for negatives, the biggest one is the roll on the table. So they need to get that straightened out. It's not something that costs. It's just a case of learning how to do it, and you can buy tools that actually make it so you don't have to kind of jack the table up. Although they do have a jack, so they should be able to level it. Secondly, again, it's pretty bad when it comes to the lighting. Right now, we're kind of getting away with it a little bit. You can sort of see what you're doing, but when it's nighttime, you're relying on 2 lights to the side. That's going to be a big issue with this table. And then the last negative is going to be that triangle. So I personally think that they should just be banned from all pubs, right? They're really bad. Even if you're trying to play a basic game, you're not going to get a good break with a triangle like that. The Smart Rack's what I recommend. At very least, people could be getting a Supreme. The Smart Rack I like because you can transport it around, so it's a really good piece of kit. But get rid of that triangle. We don't want to see it anymore, and it's inexpensive to replace. Okay, so overall, the Bitten, really nice venue, super friendly locals. This is a secondary table, which is good. It's rare. You're not going to find that in many places. The table overall, like I've said, it's got a lot of positives. The biggest negative is the roll. Straighten this table out, and it's probably going to be one of the best tables in Southampton, I would say. And obviously getting a light above it, that would make the next best thing. But yeah, overall, really nice venue. This has been a pleasure having us here. They've welcomed us in open arms. And yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. And we will see you on the next one.